that Oregon has with Justin Herbert being led, understand this. Jonathan Taylor already knows he's going to be drafted if he decides to go. And then another thing is, too, that Herbert knows he's going into the NFL after this game. So he has to play his best football. This is going to be a great football game, but I understand that Wisconsin's defense, they got to go after him, they got to punch him in the mouth, and they got to have Justin Herbert start to hear those footsteps of that Wisconsin front seven coming at him.
All right, another game that'll be played on New Year's Day will be the Minnesota Gophers. I believe they play Auburn. Is that correct? Over in the Outback Bowl, I believe.
Yes, they do.
All right,
they play in Tampa.
Right.
And let's give credit where credit is due. I mean, congratulations to the Gophers. You had a decent season. You didn't get the storybook ending you wanted, but it's still a good story. Because PJ Fleck has done something that I haven't seen the Golden Gophers football program do in a long, long time. And that is be formidable, be a team, and understand that even though they don't have all the ingredients to a successful football team, they still got good playmakers. Antoine Winfield's son, Antoine Winfield Jr., has led the team with 6 interceptions on the year. They got a decent offensive line. I mean, they got these big 300 to 340-pound offensive linemen here. And then they got Tanner Morgan, who, at times showed some sparks of excellence. But this is one thing. There's another guy out there that is looking for NFL draft. He wants this. That's Dominic Brown for the Auburn Tigers. Because even though the Gophers and PJ Fleck, they want to roll that boat, they want to ski that boat, whatever. Auburn's defense is nasty. They're gutsy, and they're going to punch you in the mouth multiple times until you understand that. Once number 5, Dominic Brown, comes crashing through that 300-plus offensive line, you're going down. And he won't just do it again. He will continuously come after you and keep Tanner Morgan thinking in his head, where is number 5? Where is number 5? Because that is what's going to help him bring it down here. I believe it's going to be a good game for a little bit, but I believe Auburn just has way too much talent. Very well coached by Gus Malzahn, and Auburn will win that game.
All right, since there are too many bowl games, we're only going to let you talk about 2 more, okay? And that being the fact that we've got Oklahoma and LSU in one of the finals. Give me a prediction on where this one's going.
You said about LSU. Say that again.
LSU, Oklahoma.
Well, this is LSU. Okay. Because, look, it's a nice story. And you talked about stories at the beginning of this. And this is what we're trying to bring up right now. I mean, Jalen Hurts, give a lot of credit to this guy. He is going through every obstacle a college football quarterback can go through. He was at the top of the line, and then he was benched. And then he had to sit on the bench as he watched Tua Tagovailoa be successful as the quarterback of the Crimson Tide. He decides to take a chance, transfer to Oklahoma, work with Lincoln Riley, have his best season yet. Statistically and as a team, really looking good. They have CeeDee Lamb. They got a good running game, strong offensive line, but their biggest flaw for Oklahoma is that defense. Now, look, they're good enough to beat any Big 12 team, but when it comes to SEC dominance and Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, good running game as well, I believe LSU and Oklahoma are going to go back and forth in the first quarter, and then something's going to click. Coach Joe's going to get Burrow to make things happen, and I think LSU is going to blow them out. I think this is at least a 21-point blowout. I could see LSU beating down Oklahoma at least 42-21. Jalen Hurts, you're a nice story, but Joe Burrow, there's a reason why he won the Heisman Trophy. 48 touchdowns on the year, 6 interceptions. He's going to go to the Cincinnati Bengals. He's an Ohio kid, so he has that tough blue-collar mentality. He's going to bring it at this point, and Joe Burrow is going to be the number 1 pick of the 2020 NFL Draft.
All right, and the final game you're going to talk about will be Clemson-Ohio State. I expect this one to be a whole lot closer than the one you just talked about.
See, I don't know what to think about Ohio State at this point because it's nice to know that Ryan Day has not crashed the Mercedes that Urban Meyer threw the keys to him. With Justin Fields, J.K. Dobbins, with Chris Olave, and you got a good defense. But let me tell you something. They haven't played anybody. And yes, Wisconsin gave them a fight, fought to the end with Ohio State, just wasn't enough. Ohio State had too big of a lead at this point. But let me tell you something here. Okay, they were down to Wisconsin. And Wisconsin is not a top 5 team. They're a top 5 to top 15 team. And when you got a team like the Badgers who just went all out on the Ohio State Buckeyes and really showed those holes, you know that Dabo Swinney, who has won this thing twice, I might add, is going to be ready to take down Ohio State. He has great talent across the board. Trevor Lawrence, good running game, strong wide receivers. They got a great defense with Brent Venables. Scott, there is a reason why Brent Venables is paid $11 million a year. He is the highest paid defensive coordinator in college football. He is going to go crazy on an injured, plagued Justin Fields right now, who is right now at about 80-85% health. I understand Ohio State, everybody wants to be on that bandwagon and say, oh yeah, Ohio State, Ryan Day is a terrific coach, but remind yourself, Ryan Day is winning with Urban's squad,
right,
with his recruits. And you're going to see that. Dabo has brought these guys from the beginning. Understand this, too. Dabo Swinney lost 4 defensive linemen last year to the NFL. He had to revamp with a bunch of juniors and sophomores. And what have they done? They have played outstanding defense. And that's what I believe is going to be the difference. I think Clemson-Ohio State will be a good game for the first 3 quarters, but then Clemson, they're going to wake up, and they're going to strike them with 14 unanswered points, and they're going to win that thing by 2 touchdowns. I got Clemson and LSU in the national championship.
Well, give me a score. You didn't hesitate to give me a score how bad Oklahoma would lose. Go ahead. We got to keep it real.
I will go with 31 Clemson, Ohio State 17.
All right. 2 other notes before we let you go. And that's this. Jeff Scott got hired by the University of South Florida via Clemson. What are your thoughts about the hire for USF?
Jeff Scott, you said?
Yeah.
You're going to have to...
Well,
sorry, say again?
That's okay. USF hired one of Clemson's assistants to take over the program to replace Charlie Strong. Any observations that USF snapped up one of their coordinators?
Look, the thing about Clemson, when you got coaches, I mean, I'm surprised Brett Venables, but the way Venables gets paid, he was going to stay at Clemson. But when you got a guy that has been underneath the tutelage of Dabo Swinney and wants to go change the situation in USF is a mess. Charlie Strong has done nothing to complete this team, has never made them formidable or even good enough in the American Conference to battle teams like UCF and Memphis. Jeff Scott, if he could get this job, obviously got a great recommendation from Dabo Swinney to go and revamp this foundation. Because USF, they definitely need that. I mean, how can you say this about a team that has a pro football stadium as their place to play, that they have good recruits, that they've had the likes of good NFL-level talent in the past go and play in the NFL? And this is what you want. Now, it's going to take some time because this is what Florida State's dealing with Mike Norvell. If anybody thinks that Scott and Norvell are going to go win, USF is going to be in a top-ranked bowl game next year, you're crazy. These 2 teams need a lot of fixing. They need good recruits. Scott's going to go young. He's going to bring in freshmen, maybe a couple of sophomores at this point, and try and see what he can build off this. It's going to take time, but like with what I'm seeing with Jeff Brom and Purdue, he has all kinds of talent across the board, but they're all freshmen, and you're going to see that with USF. But if Jeff Scott can do an excellent job with USF, you could see a change in the next couple of years.
Yeah, he was hired, so I see that as a good hire for USF. And a little irony, and then we'll get you out of here on this final note here. Okay, he actually brought in Glenn Spencer, the guy that turned FAU's defense around and won the bowl game, and he also added Charlie Weiss Jr. to that staff. So I think that's a good hire. So those are good hires. All right, and one final note here while we wrap up the Sports Exchange. The Green Bay Packers are the Da Vinci Code of the NFL. I'd like to hear an explanation on that one.
Well, a couple of years ago, there was this great book called The Da Vinci Code, which was written by Dan Brown. And it is one of the craziest mysteries because that is what the national media has come to a point. They don't know what to think about this Green Bay Packers team. They're not sexy. They're not, newspaper worthy. They're not front page or any of this. I mean, their stats are, they're okay. They're 13th in total offense, in total with 23.5 per game. Their defense is in the top 15, top 20. I mean, their pass defense is ranked 20th, 18th. But when you see some of the playmakers and the way that front seven played as a team against the likes of the Minnesota Vikings, when you got Zadarius Smith with 3.5 sacks, you got Preston Smith helping up, you got them shutting down the running game. This defense, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, has only given up 51 points in 4 games. They are firing on all cylinders at the right time, and even though Aaron Rodgers has 23 touchdowns on the year, he threw an interception. He only had 216 against the Vikings. This is still a team to beat because they win ugly. They play ugly. And that's what Matt LaFleur wants out of this team. They don't have all the big-time playmakers. They don't have the George Kittles or anything like that. They don't have Michael Thomas. They got Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Jones, which I mentioned at the beginning of the year. LaFleur was going to make into a top-ranked running back, and that's what he is doing right now with Aaron Jones. Watch out for the Green Bay Packers because they're going to still continue to be that mystery until somebody can crack that Da Vinci Code. The Packers better start to understand they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, all I'll say about the Packers is they play the Lions on my birthday at Ford Field. I know the Lions are playing for a draft choice on Sunday, so obviously the Packers should roll for an easy win. I also believe that the Packers can go ahead and clinch home field throughout. The road to Lambeau Field, to me, throughout the home field advantage can be dangerous. And I will make a prediction on record right now that if Aaron Rodgers wins a Super Bowl title this year, I will predict that he will retire on top. That's what I think.
See, you know, Scott, I would agree with you on that. When you have your star quarterback, talking about and using a golf reference and talking about the 18th hole. And we all know that the 18th hole is the last hole on the course. And if that's how Aaron Rodgers feels and he wins that Super Bowl and wants to do a John Elway moment, let him do it. I mean, he just bought a $28 million mansion in full cash with his girlfriend, Danica Patrick, in Malibu, California. He has endorsements. He has all this respect from Packer fans. He has the respect of the media. I mean, what else could you say? He can go on top. If he wins a Super Bowl, let him get on a Harley and drive off into the sunset if he wants to. That's the choice of a top-ranked quarterback like Aaron Rodgers.
Well, here on the East Coast, there's no sunset. It's darkness. But meanwhile, we're going to drive off on the sunset and put a cap on this edition of the Sports Exchange. We look forward to everybody being back here after the first of the year. We promise you there'll be some great broadcasts. And we have a great core of people that are going to bring those to you. So on behalf of Louis Adeoye, Louis.
I'm here.
Jake, you'll be co-hosting with me on alternate nights when Louis is not around. Okay, and myself. Jake, what do you got to say?
Ready.
What do you have to say? Anything to close it out?
Well, I just want to say that 2020 is going to be a banner year for the South Florida Tribune and the Sports Exchange, and I am just... I'm very happy to be part of the team, and I can't wait to do more podcasts with you, Scott. I appreciate this opportunity.
Well, you're very welcome. You're certainly deserving of it. So on behalf of all of our guests, we had a great lineup tonight. It began with Michael Keller. It continued with David Levin, Tom Shanahan, and Jake Rongholt, our closer.